Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, me and my team, Muhammad Aikal, Muhammad Aziz, and me, Amir Azril, will present about fiqh mu'asarah in philanthropy in cash wakaf. For the table of contents, first introduction, and then history of cash wakaf, issue areas in cash wakaf, views of previous scholar, views of contemporary scholar, current fatwa in Malaysia, current fatwa worldwide, practice in Malaysia, and last but not least is conclusions.
The distribution of property can be categorized into two parts. Firstly, the obligatory distribution, and the second, non-obligatory distribution. The obligatory distribution consists of zakats, homes, haras, jizyah, while the non-obligatory distribution consists of waqaf, wasiyah, sadaqah, and qur'an hasan. Waqaf was organized during the time of Prophet Muhammad SAW as a way to the strength unity among the community. Waqaf can also be used for the educational, religious purpose and get permission by the Sharia to be used in the socio-economic development. Waqaf can be categorized into several groups such as property wakaf, corporate wakaf, philanthropic wakaf, and also cash wakaf. In the history of Islam, the Quba Mosque in the Medina was the first example of wakaf. This mosque was built during the arrival of Prophet Muhammad SAW to the Medina. In ancient time, wakaf was only done by using properties such as land and or buildings. However, after several centuries of waqaf being debated by the scholars and ulama, cash waqaf began to be introduced. Imam Zufar was the first person to introduce cash waqaf in the history of Islam in the 8th century. He was one of the Hanafi school. The concept of waqaf is a concept of transfer the property from human property to God's property, while the cash waqaf refer to the mobilization of funds from donor based on property and investing them in productive asset. Thus provide either usufruct or revenue for future consumption by individuals or groups, taking into account the policy and guideline provided by the donors. In the beginning, waqaf only involved immovable properties such as land and building to maintain the principle of waqaf. That is, the property is a permanent state and not easily damaged. This principle, however, is based on the practice of the Prophet Muhammad SAW and also the companions, where in their time only land and building were used to perform waqaf. Turning to the movable property, originally the fuqaha decided that it was illegally to perform waqaf using the property because it was against the principle of waqaf and more likely to be prone and to damage and even change. Contrary to the opinion of some scholars who hold the concept of benefits for society, accepting various forms of property as long as it benefits society. Therefore, cash waqaf is a good alternative for people who do not have assets such as land and building to do waqaf. In addition, the cash waqaf then can generate more funds, where the funds generated can be used to develop assets such as undeveloped waqaf land and other idle land for the business and agriculture purpose.
Okay, next is issue areas in cash wakaf. Firstly is the utilization of wakaf property revenues for investment. In relation to this problem, just as the wakaf can stipulate specific criteria for the use of wakaf property and the distribution of its revenues, it can also stipulate that a portion of the income from cash wakaf investments be utilized for investment. This is consistent with the Council of the International Academy of Islamic Fiqh decision. Waqf conditions must be followed if they demand a portion of the return from Waqf property investment to be utilized as a round of capital, which is reinvestment to extend the endowment original property. Other than that, the issue of surplus income from Waqf property for investment reasons. If there is a problem after a profit or development of a Waqf property has been utilized to cover all Waqf property management expenditures and distributed to all specific recipients, there is still an excess of those earnings. Essentially, surplus Waqf investment gains should be dispersed to other Waqf recipients in line with the Waqf intent, according to the original statute. If orphans are among the Waqf beneficiaries, any extra revenues should be allocated to other orphans. On the other hand, the issue of determination of Waqf property management costs. A manager or inspector is usually assigned to oversee and operate a Waqf property in order to carry out appropriate management practices for Waqf property. Numerous fees will be incurred.
In this part, there are two different views on cash wakaf. The first view is a scholar that reject cash wakaf. A part of Hanafi, Shafi'i and Hanbali school prohibit the act of wakaf in cash in the wakaf property is not ta'bid, which is permanent. This is because they agree that the wording of wakaf contract must be intended to perform the wakaf permanently. In addition, any form of wakaf property must coincide with the condition of sale wakaf, which is permanent and can be utilized without affecting its substance. Therefore, the majority of Hanafi, Shafi'i and Hanbali school reject all form of the wakaf that use money instruments. However, cash wakaf status can be valid if it is ta'bid. They agree that if the money from the wakaf property can remain and be utilized and replaced as its original value when used, or the wakaf money is invested so that its profit can infuse without affecting its capital, then it is not no problem. Also, Abu Hanifa said about the cash wakaf. He said that it's not permissible to do wakaf in form of cash and movable property, even if it can be used without affecting its substance, such as animal and weapon. Abu Yusuf also have the same view to the Abu Hanifa, which is to perform which is not permissible to perform wakaf on movable property except animal and also swords. Second, scholar that accept cash wakaf. The Maliki school requires cash wakaf if the wakaf is done in form of the loan, which is Qardul Hasan. The view of the Maliki school on cash wakaf is also similar to the agreement in the book of Al-Mudawwanah in the chapter on zakat, where in the book is stated, if a person wakaf 100 dinar to be lent to the public and they return it after benefiting from him, this make it a property that has been endowed to the public. Do you think this is zakat? He said that yes, it is called zakat. The answer as zakat is the proportion that in the Maliki school recognize cash wakaf as one of the permissible type of wakaf. Other than that, Maliki school also assume that there is no condition of ta'bid in wakaf. So cash wakaf can be done even if its value will decrease when used.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aziz bin Muhammad Rahizan, metric number 2020872438. and I will be presenting about the view of contemporary scholar about the cash waqf. So there is two subtitles, which is current fatwa in Malaysia and current fatwa worldwide. So the current fatwa in Malaysia. First, in general, jurists believe that waqf if necessary based on Al-Quran. As Allah said in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. Which means the example of those who spread their wealth in the cause of Allah is that of a grain that sprout into 7 years, each bearing 100 grains, and Allah multiply the reward even more to whoever He will. For Allah is all bounty, all knowing. So the cash waqf was started in Malaysia in Perak, which is Perak Islamic Religious and Malay Custom Council, was the first to provide approval for cash waqf in 1959. The Work Control Regulation 1599 under the Regulation 18 in the bracket 2 state that by filling out the designated form, the State Work Control Committee can accept cash from anybody seeking to endow the general benefit. Then, the Selangor state government that demand work in cash under the term of the Selangor State Work Enactment number 7 of 1999, number 60, section 2 in bracket 1. So in Selangor, cash waqf is acceptable under the idea of istidbal in the same section, where istidbal refers to the replacing a waqf property with other property or money of equal or greater worth by replacement, purchase, sale, or any other method permitted by Islamic law. Then the legitimacy of money as a waqf instrument is further affirmed by fatwa ruling issue in a few countries in Malaysia. For example, in Selangor in 2006, Malacca in 2005, Terengganu in 2007, and in Kelantan 2013. And it followed by the other country until all in Malaysia, all state in Malaysia has accept cash as a medium to do a work. So at the federal level, a few financial work project has been launched. For example, Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia (YWN) and Department of Waqaf, Zakat and Hajj, as known as Jauhar. Now, let's see about the current fatwa worldwide. So in Indonesia, Fatwa Commission of the Indonesian Ulama Council declared cash waqf is a requirement. So in Indo, cash waqf with money or securities is necessary for this committee as long as it is used for Sharia compliant purpose. Then in Singapore, the legal rules in Singapore acknowledge waqf in general, whether it is concerned land or money to support mosque, schools, and Muslim in general. In Singapore, the position of cash waqf is measured in terms of revenue generated by money invested in the form of bank deposits and dividend. So in Brunei Darussalam, waqf property is generally linked with the mosques, surahs, and house of worship. So in Brunei, they accept that waqf can be take other form beyond real estate as long as it is benefits for the Muslim. And in Turkey, Turkey was popularly devoted by the Hanafi scholar. So, according to Hanafi scholar, because the permanence of the donated asset is the core of any waqf, the endowment should, in theory, be made up for a real land. However, The Hanafi scholar identified 3 exceptions to this general rule, which is first, it is presumable to endow movable asset belonging to the endow real estate, such as farm, oxen, or sheep. Second, if there is a relevant hadith. And third, if it is the regional custom, which is ta'amul.
Okay, next is cash wakaf practice in Malaysia. Firstly, cash wakaf collection by Perbadanan Waqf Selangor and Waqf Selangor Muamalat. Waqf Selangor has devised a number of methods for collecting monetary wakaf. The first is through IMU550, which is the MAIS website's online payment method. Potential donors can choose the sort of gift they want to make using this way of collecting cash wakaf. Waqf Selangor is also in charge of collecting monetary wakaf via a few different wakaf items. Waqf Selangor must consult Jabatan Kuasa Majlis Fatwa Kebangsaan for each wakaf product to ensure that it is Sharia compliant. The first wakaf product is Scheme Infaq, which allows working people to give up to RM5 ringgit each month from their pay. By early 2012, Waqf Selangor has teamed up with Yayasan Waqf Malaysia to encourage government employees in Selangor to join Usaha Waqf Selangor. Waqf Selangor also introduced a new wakaf product, the Gold Wakaf, which is Wakaf Emas, in early 2013. Next is the distribution of cash wakaf fund in Selangor. The cash wakaf fund received by Waqf Selangor is allocated according to a new plan named Rasa Agihan Manfaat Sewaan through Mesyuarat Jawatan Kuasa Fatwa Negeri Selangor, which was held on the June 2013. It began with the General Wakaf Fund. Some of the funds are invested in real estate to generate rental income and profits. The rental income is then utilized to pay the management charge. After paying the management charge, the remaining funds are split into two sections, 50% for permanent asset property expenses and 50% for cash wakaf funds. Once in a cash wakaf fund, 70% of the money is set aside for investment and 30% is set aside for charitable purposes.
So, for the conclusion, we can see that cash fund is an issue that is beginning to get attention from various parties, especially the ulama and scholars. It is debated whether movable properties, which is mangkul, can be used as a medium to perform waqf or not. Many Islamic countries, including Malaysia, has adopted the cash waqf application. Then we can see that the legitimacy of money as a cash instrument in Malaysia is further affirmed by the fatwa ruling issued on September 5, 2016 by the Selangor State Fatwa, and then it was followed by the other country until all over the Malaysia has accept money as a work instrument. So in Malaysia, there is PWS has come up with a variety of strategies for collecting monetary waqf. The first is through eMines, the online payment system for the MAIS website, and this help people into paying their cash waqf online, and it is very easy to use for people. That's all from our team. Thank you for lending your ears. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.